Hi, Joy. Welcome. I'm just letting people know that I'm doing this, and then I can see all the comments in front of me. Oh, right after I turn this off. There we go. Good evening, Bob. Hello. I'll just let my sewing group know that I'm up with the link, and then I will be able to see all of your comments. Hi, Pamela. Hello, Cindy. Thank you for being my moderator to stop all the weirdos. And hello, Cindy. All right, so what I'm going to do, you're going to see me look down. I've got my laptop right here so that I can read your comments and answer any questions you've got. And the main reason I'm doing this is because A, I've never done one, and B, I imagine lots of people have different weird questions. So I figured now's a good time to answer them where everybody can see them. Hello, Cheryl and Anne-Marie. Oh, this is going to be fun. So, who's got a question? Since that's why I'm here. Hello, Cheryl. Oh, there's lots of Cheryls. Hello, Liz. Hello, Lauren. Oh, the first thing I would like to say is thank you to everyone who purchased some waterproof canvas from me. I'm super excited that that was successful. I was a little bit worried that it wasn't going to be, and I have already ordered another shipment of all the colors that sold out. So unfortunately, I can't give a time as to when they'll get here, but I'm sure they will get here quicker than last time. Let's hope. I'm not really sure. Does anybody have questions for me about, I don't know, anything sewing related? Would you like to see more clothing videos? How long have I been sewing? So I've been sewing since about 5 or 6 years ago. I started taking up sewing more seriously than like hemming pants and things like that. I started with retro aprons, which I can actually show you one. Because I'm bringing them back. So they're like retro circle skirt aprons with cute little pockets. So this is what I started sewing more seriously when I got back into it. And then I made like a lot of them, like 200 or 300. And then eventually nobody wanted them anymore, so I moved on to bags. You would like to see a skull blazer tutorial? I can actually do that because I am making myself another one. But it won't be skull fabric. I've got this really nice tropical print that I want to do. So I would like to do some more clothing ones. Can I show us your labels? Sure. So I've got 2 types of things I put on bags. First is my metal tag. I got them from China. They come with like little sticky outy bits that you bend over like a magnet, but I didn't get any gaskets with them. So you just poke them in and bend them down, and they have my logo stamped in them. And then things that don't get that get a little fabric tag. So I've done them long ways, and then it says on the back, cotton and synthetic and made in Australia. How many bags do I make in a day? It would depend on if I've pre-cut them or not. So usually how I do it is I will spend a day cutting and interfacing and ironing, and then the next day I'll make up the bags. So if everything's pre-cut and I don't have to go down the street and I don't have to go anywhere, I can usually get 4 or 5 done in a full day. That's between dropping my child at daycare and then picking him up, which is like 2 houses walk down, which is wonderful. Is this my full-time job? Yes. So as of this year, when we moved here to Puckapunyal, I am no longer close to a Spotlight. So I was working casually in Spotlight, but I was getting pretty good hours up in Townsville. But when I moved down here, the closest one's like an hour drive away. So by the time we take out the fact that I have to drop off and pick up my kid, it's not worth it. So I've decided to do this full time. So during the middle of the COVID, I was very dead, which is why I started doing videos. because I would like to be educational as well. But yes, this is my full-time job. So all the money I make from here either goes back into the business or pays bills like electricity and things. How many hours a day do I spend sewing? Most of them. So I will wake up at like 6:37. I come into the sewing room and like work out what I want to do for the day, take my child to daycare, and then come home, and I pretty much spend all day in this sewing room. Unless I have to go down the street to buy things, I am just here and sewing. Or messaging you guys, because I like to try and reply to everybody's messages. Excellent. As for my metal tags, the main reason I bought the 3D printer is because I'm going to try, if I can get it working, to do a 3D printer version of these. So they'll be longer and have holes for rivets instead, because you can get different colored plastics that look like metal colors. So if I get it working, and when I say me, I mean the cool 17-year-old that I've given it to get working. Once it's all working, I'm actually going to offer like ones that say handmade and, you know, I'm a sociopath and all that kind of that, tags just with rivet holes instead of the bend over clasps, because you have to buy these in bulk for them to make it even remotely worth it. And the bulk has to be of individual colors. So I've only got silver. So any bag that I do in a gold or a black hardware, don't get them. And I just don't really have that kind of money to go and spend, you know, $1,500 on some tags. So I'm hoping that the 3D printer is the alternative. So I'll be able to print them here as I need them and then do like fun ones that you guys can purchase. I am sure you love what you do. I do love what I do, and when I feel burnt out, I actually just sit at my computer and watch Netflix for a day. One day of doing nothing while sitting in this room makes the next day come in and I still feel recharged. So sometimes I feel burnt out. Sometimes I get a little bit stressed. So this over here, this is my order board. There are actually a few things on it, but you can't see it because I wrote it in green texture. But when this gets full, my stress levels go up. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So now you're going to hear weird noises. There we go. So yeah, I only ever really feel a little bit kind of stressed out if this is full. Anything or 3/4 full plus. Anything under that, and I feel like I've got this. I hope that helps. And I try not to overly look at it. So that's why it's all the way over there. I used to have it directly in front of me. It's much more stressful in front of me. So by moving it over there, I can see it if I need to, but I'm not looking at it. So it doesn't stress me out as much. What's my favorite bag pattern? At the moment, my favorite bag pattern is the Nora by Swoon. I can't get enough of making them. They make me happy. But it's not like if I just made 10 of them in a row, I actually think I'd get sick of it. So at the moment, my favorite is the Nora by Swoon, but I do like others. So that's not just the only one. I do love the Baronia bowler bag, which is one that I actually just finished before here. So before this video, I just sewed up this one. I love this shape. The only tricky bit is trying to sew like the last little seam. But I do love this bag. I love how it looks. I love how much customers love it. And my favorite wallet pattern would have to be the NCW because, I don't know, it's probably just the main one I've done. Hi, Karen. I'm glad that you're recovering from COVID. That's good. Recovery is a wonderful sentence. What bag do I carry? So at the moment, I change my bag every 6 months. Because it is my business, so I like to keep it fresh, and I trash my bags. I'm not even gonna lie, I trash them good. And I always do a matching wallet, so everything I carry has to be very me. So like this hoodie, I embroidered the front of it. I try to like represent myself for the most part. So I'm currently carrying a Baronia, but I am about to change over. I was hoping this week, but then the canvas came. So it will be next week, and I'm going to do a video on it. I'm going to do a Celine by Swoon. I've done a mock-up. I've decided what I want to change about it. But mainly I just want to put bag foam in it so it's a bit more firmer. But I love the Celine by Swoon, so I will be doing that next. Right. Do I think a domestic machine will handle the new lining fabric? Absolutely. Hold on. Let me get some. Ouch. So when I put it on the website, I only left myself a meter of each color. So I actually just got the same as you guys. So it's quite thin. It's not actually very, very thick. So you can get it in different, what they call denier, which is thickness I don't really know how denier works, but this is a 300 denier. So it's thick, but it's not crazy thick. It's almost as thick as cotton, I guess. So your machine will handle it fine. It doesn't over perforate. As you can see, it doesn't just fray by sitting there. So yes, it will definitely go through a domestic machine. Yes. Have I done the Ciara by Maggie 55? No, I have not. Unfortunately, I don't actually have a lot of splash cash to just go and buy all the patterns I'd love. I do have a wish list, which I add to on a piece of paper regularly. But I'm finding, I already do own a lot of patterns, so I am trying to sew through them all. And yeah, B, so because I've just sold all of this, I will go and buy a couple of new patterns that are like new release ones, so that I'm keeping up with everybody and that you guys get to see all the new patterns done. But yeah, unfortunately, I only have a very small budget each month to buy patterns. So you have to bear with me on that. Like, there's a few I want. I love the Tribiana by Sincerely Jen. I looked at that pattern. I really want it. But then I was like, so whatever. Lauren did a video. So I'm like, do I really need to do one even though I want it? So that will go kind of further down the list, and I will buy things that other people haven't done so that you guys get like a broader range of tutorials. How did I start selling my bags? So how I started selling my aprons is a better question. I made myself an apron for Christmas, and it was ridiculous and so very over the top, and I loved it. And then people saw them, they're like, oh my God, can I buy one? So I started just selling to friends with my aprons, and then I turned it into, okay, I'll do markets. And then once the market started to die off because everybody had bought aprons for themselves and their friends, and then it kind of died down, I decided I wanted to make myself a really funky looking handbag for myself. And then again, my friends saw that, so I just added it into my market stall, and then it kind of just exploded from there. And then I just phased out the aprons because you have to store a lot more fabric for aprons. Like a full apron takes 2.5 meters, which means I'd need a very full stock of fabric all the time. Whereas bags, they obviously take less, so I can have more options without taking up more space. So basically markets. And then I live in Townsville, which is really, really, really hot, and I couldn't deal with being outside in the heat all the time, which is why I then opened a website, because I figure it kind of does it all for you. Like, it takes out the guesswork of like, do you want it and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I started the website. And then I promised today, actually, I keep getting asked, do I post overseas? So I'm going to go and spend like 2 hours with the postie. I'm sure he's going to hate me for it, but he'll get over it. And I'm going to work out like what the postage rates are for all the different weights to be able to post overseas. So I'm aiming for as many places as I can. So I'm going to aim to do specifically the UK, New Zealand, USA, and Canada. So I may not be up tonight, so please don't hold me on that, but I am going to go and work out a better way to do all of my postage overseas for you guys. So I hope that helps too. I sew with waterproof canvas on my domestic, works just fine. So if you're having trouble on a domestic machine with thicker seams, I don't know if you've watched many of my videos, but I quite often cut out, like on this, like a U shape, I cut out the seam allowance on thicker corners. You will find that your machine will go over it way, way quicker. So my industrial machine that I use can't actually deal with crazy thick seams. I have the same problem of a lot of domestic users in that it skips stitches. So when I'm cutting things out, that's because this machine can't hack it. My big one over here in the background could, but then I'd have to keep moving the camera. And as you can tell, we have enough camera issues as it is. When I do classes, do I sew bags or clothes? So I don't actually sew in the sewing classes that I'm holding. They're just like in the local community center, and they wanted to learn clothes. So my beautiful pink top that you guys have all seen and love, we are currently midway through that, but where I live, the restrictions for COVID have just gone way back up. So I'm not allowed to have any visitors in my house, and my sewing lessons are shut down at the moment. So you will probably start seeing a few more clothing fabric videos because I'm trying to keep them motivated while I'm here. So I figured, like they're halfway through the shirt. So I'll actually be doing a tutorial on how to make that shirt, which you guys can follow on with if you want to, but it will mainly be for people here. I will eventually I actually want to do like a weekend course where you come and I supply all the stuff and we make like a proper handbag that is in the works, but I have to get all the right permissions and time it correctly. Yes. Deborah, I've watched your NCW video 5 or 6 times, picked up a lot of great tips. Tried the train stitching, works great, thanks for helping. You are very welcome. I'm glad I can be of help. I like to inspire people, that's kind of my thing. Hello, Kathleen. Welcome from North California. Hi. Keep in mind that everybody teaches differently. Each person has their own hints and tips. This is true too. So I will eventually make all the patterns in the universe, I hope. I am working on it. But yeah. I only get 3 days when my child's at daycare. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is when you'll always get new videos. And I'm going to try and do at least 1 live each week, but I can't necessarily promise that because life does get in the way. So I would actually like to do sew-alongs where you guys like have it made up and come join me. But again, like it's hard. People have work and lives and time zones and all that kind of thing. So I will try and do more lives. I'll do one once a week if I can, like right now. But I can't promise every single week ever. Excellent. You're making the mailer. Oh, that's good. Yeah, so I looked at those instructions. I was going to do it the way instructions says. I opened it, looked at all the scary pictures, didn't even read it, put it down and went, I've got this. It's made in a similar way to how I would make a Bonnie by Swoon. So it's basically the same, but just different shapes and different sizes. So I went, how hard can it be? And I actually just winged that video. I'd never made one before that video, but I think it came out great. So there's more than one way to make a bag. You don't have to do it my way. You've possibly got a better way than the way I've got it. But I looked at those instructions and went, yeah, no. We can do it like a more traditional, the way I always do it way. Yeah. When buying fabrics, how do I decide what to buy? Past experience is the best answer to that. So I know what my customers tend to buy from me, or I know what gets the most reactions on my Facebook pages. So I know my customer base is very skulls, Harry Potter, and cats, in actual fact. They are the 3 kind of big fabrics that people want. I obviously do a lot of other stuff, and I usually only buy fabric that's on sale or it's going to have a limited run and I can't get a lot of it. But skulls is a big one for my client base, and Harry Potter. So on sales, like at spotlight sales when it's 40% off, I'll go and spend, $100 or $200 and just buy a meter of a whole bunch of fabric so that I have options in my cupboard. But in saying that, I'm also trying to work through my fabric because Sun's been sitting there for a long time because it hasn't sold, because it hasn't been popular. So if you were going to start selling, I would suggest you find out what kind of things people around you like. So I know florals are popular, but only certain kinds of florals. I find it's very hit and miss with the florals that I pick because I'm not a huge floral person. Like I have a lot of floral dresses because I picked like the funkier kind of ones. But I do find that when people get options of all my florals, they go for more of a traditional Victorian style floral. So you just have to kind of know your customers. And I know that's hard to do if you're just starting, but ask your friends. Basically, get like your group of friends who are all very different and then go take them with you if you can to the shop and be like, pick 5 fabrics because everybody's got a very different style and that way you can kind of cater to everyone. How do I manage buying interfacing? So I have a wholesale account with a couple of people. So I am actually going to start as of hopefully next week. Every kind of interfacing that I use, I will now be stocking on my website. So that includes the heavy backing that I put as the bases, the Formfuse 1600, and I'm switching permanently to a woven interfacing for linings that aren't the waterproof canvas. And I'll be stocking the foam as well. So I find that I get it at a good price. I can also be able to sell it cheaper than, say, Spotlight. So all of my stuff will be cheaper than a Spotlight. But I will only have what I can have. So depending on what they've got in stock is dependent on what I can get. But I find that for me, things aren't too expensive. So I like to try and pass that on to you guys. Like I know bag foam at Spotlight's about $20 and I sell it for $14 because I can. I get it. I don't have overheads either. Like I'm at my house. So prices for me are cheaper because I have the account. So if you've got an ABN, maybe look into suppliers in your area and see if you can get it in bulk because bulk is always cheaper. I'm starting the Trailblazer tomorrow. So Trailblazer, that is the next video I want to do. I actually have a custom order for one. So I have purchased the pattern, but I have not yet printed it. That might sound lazy, but I've been a little bit busy. So Trailblazer is definitely something that I will have. I promise it will be up next week. I just don't know what day. And depending on what Hobby's doing this weekend, maybe I could sneak a video in this weekend. Forgive me if you've already asked, but what's new with the 3D printer? Right, 3D printer. It's not in my house. I let the 17-year-old take it home and he's going to work out how to use it and then come back and teach me because it was insane. It was in like hundreds of pieces. It had like little bags full of like different types of nuts and bolts. And I saw 60 different numbers at least. So it was way out of my thing. He's really enjoying working out how to use it. So once he's nailed it and fixed it all, then it'll come back here. I will buy all the colors and I will start on the skull bowls and the Groot bowl and the Batman bowl and all the other cool ones that I found. They are coming as soon as we get the printer tip-top 100%. So that's what's news with that. Currently nothing, but we're getting there. Who are my sewing mentors? I don't have any. I don't have any people around me that sew. I learned a lot from a guy that worked at Spotlight because I used to run the demos there that were on weekends. So he taught me a couple of cool things about clothes, but bags, I'm just kind of winging it, very much so. So I don't really have like a mentor that comes in and goes, oh, this is a better way. I actually just learn by trial and error. Same as horse riding, really. Nobody taught me to ride. I just hold on and don't fall off. It's fine. I'm a quilter. I'm in the process of making the Trailblazer. Oh, cool. Is my chair comfortable? This chair was free off the side of the road. It's okay. I'm not, I don't know. It's all right. It's just like a normal computer chair. I get up and down a lot. So in my videos, you'll notice that I do everything at my bench. But when I'm at home, I actually stand up a lot because I like to stand up. So I don't like to have everything crowded on me. I go back and forth to my cutting counter. So my chair's all right. I never have back issues from it. It's fine. I mean, in a perfect world, I get one of those really cool looking gaming chairs. But at this stage, I don't have the money for it, and I probably don't need it. This chair's all right. If it hurt me, I would get a different one, but I'm okay. So I hope that answers your question. How do I want to use a 3D printer? For the 3D printer, I mainly want to do tags. I want to do ones that say like handmade and some cool stuff So I'll ask you guys' opinions on what they should say. But just basically that and the skull balls, because I'm forever getting asked, you know, where do I get them? Can I sell them? So I would love to just print like these and like a couple of other shapes that I found and versions of these in different colors. That's really what I bought the 3D printer for. But we'll see how well I go with it. I'm not actually I'm technically challenged is what I am. I'm not very good at technology. I like the way you do. I actually wing a lot of the tutorials. I'm going to admit this because it's fine. Most of the instructions I don't read at all. I know that's probably really bad. I read them if I get stuck, but I don't know. I've got a very mathematical kind of brain. So I see all the pieces and I can see the order in which they're going to need to be put together. So I don't read the instructions. Yeah, actually, that's a lie. I was making a camera bag, so the Camille camera bag by Swoon, and I read just how to do the lid, but I didn't read the rest of the instructions. And you know what? It came out awesome. And I will be doing a tutorial on that. It's not that I'm being arrogant by not reading them. Bags all go together the same. Like every messenger bag, they come in different shapes and different sizes, but they all go together in the same order. So you do your inside pockets, then you join, you know, your gusset and your front and your back piece, and then you put the lid and you wedge it in between, and it's just, I don't know, to me, they all go together the same, so I don't read them. All right. Taking others shopping helps. Yes. So I have a couple of friends that don't live near me that do also sew and or buy a lot of online things. So I got a lot of friends that buy handmade a lot. So I tend to look at the things that they buy and then basically go buy the same fabric, because obviously people like that fabric. That's a good way to indicate. So even if you go onto like a handmade page in your area and see what sells the quickest, because people obviously like that style or that kind of fabric, that would be a good way to do it as well. If you have like people that don't want to go shopping with you. I could make a yarn bowl. Possibly, but I'm not a great knitter. I can make like basic headbands, like stretchy knitted headband things, but I'm not big on the yarn. My mom's like the knitter crochet person, not me. What does quilting cotton fabric run here? So licensed quilting fabric in Australia is about $25 a meter. And then the homespun, so the plain colors, full price at Spotlight are 10, and they go on sale for up to half price. Little boutique shops that aren't like major ones, they sell their fabrics for between 25 and 35 a meter. So a lot, I guess. Yeah. I suppose it's all relevant, so what kind of prints and fabrics you buy. But quilting cotton can go from anywhere from $10 to $40 full price in Australia. And then if you can, buy it on sale would be my recommendation. Please give the live chat a thumbs up. Oh, thank you, Lauren. I thought you meant I can give a thumbs up. I thought that's where we were going with that. My bad. Have I worked with plastic snaps? Yes. Yes, I have. Yes, I do. I have a tub of them, actually. So all of my little key fobs, which is on this here thing here, this here is all key fobs. So like snap tabs or whatever you call them. Key ring things. I don't know, whatever. So I use plastic snaps on all of them. So that's another reason why I bought a second cam press, is so that I can have one end in one and then the other in the other. So I use my cam press. So if you're in Australia, Green Beans actually sell the press. So you get one base and then the top and the bottom. So I actually use these a lot. I use them on that. I also put them on the Stella by Swoon, like big overnight bag. I put them on the front pockets. So I love plastic snaps. I think they hold quite well. I like the look of them. I like that you can get them in a gazillion different colors. So yes, big thumbs up on plastic snaps from me. I like them. Hello, Retta. I seem so sweet. Well, thank you. You don't read either. Look at the pictures, you get stuck. That's the spirit, Joy. That just means that you've been sewing so much that your brain can identify the pattern of how to sew things. It's a good thing to be. Can you say where I live? It is 12:30 p.m. here, and I live in Puckapunyal, Victoria. I live on an army base. So currently where I live, we have gone back into lockdown restrictions, so nobody can visit me, and I can't have any visitors in my house, not even if you live next door. Basically like a really cool gated community is where I'm at. But I like where I live. It's very cool. And I have a post office that's like 900 meters down the road, which means every day that somebody orders from me and I've made it or I've got it, it gets posted the same day. So, yes, I can tell you where I live. Any other questions? I can actually see myself. It's delayed on my computer. My face does a lot of movement. Never noticed before right now. See, I just did it again. Ah! Do we have any requests on patterns? Because I am actually going, I can actually afford a few this week. That's okay, Mom. So Deb May's my mum. She's come to watch me. I will say I totally appreciate everything you share. You're very welcome. What are my hobbies? Horse riding. So outside of sewing, horse riding or buying fabric, because let's be honest, that's a whole separate hobby. You're excited to see the Camille bag. I'm just waiting on my 2-inch plastic sliders. I've ordered them, but again, waiting for them to show up because otherwise I can't finish the strap in the video. So I can make the whole bag and make the strap, but I just can't officially finish the bag without that little slider. So as soon as the sliders show up, I've actually got 2 camera bags cut, ready to go. So as soon as they show up, I will be making it. Do I sell mostly on Facebook page? So I show everybody the custom orders I've done on the Facebook page, but I get everybody to buy everything through my website so that it's an easy way to keep track of like tax purpose things. So if you contact me and want a custom bag, they message me through Facebook, but then I send them to my website to buy it. But I do get a lot of traction from Facebook because, you know, friends can share the page and I can put it in different groups and stuff like that. So most of my client base comes from Facebook, but technically I'm selling it through the website. You're welcome, Joy. And I will be doing international shipping, I promise. I'm going to go there today because see this leopard print bag right here? That is full of the rest of the orders that I got overnight. So I have cut them and packaged them and I will be sending them off. And while I'm there, I will ask him about the different prices for overseas shipping. Is the camera bag your pattern? So I'm not very good at writing patterns. I leave it to the professionals. I probably could if I tried really, really hard, but then you guys wouldn't get videos for like 3 weeks while I did it. So I'm quite happy to support other bag people. But the camera bag that I'm doing is Camille by Swoon. So I think it was brought out in like 2015 or something. So it's an older pattern, but it's cool. I like it. I thought it looked really funky. I got my friend, so somebody bought one off me and I just dropped it off to her before. So she went home and put her camera and stuff in the bag and sent photos to me. So after this, I will actually be putting them up on my Facebook page so you can see. Not Facebook page, Facebook group, because that's probably where most of you are from. So I will show you what it looks like after this. My sister, I do fabric shopping on FaceTime. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's a good idea, FaceTime, for people that don't want to actually shop with you. Do I have another machine that's a walking foot? I do. So this machine here is what's called a cylinder machine. And the reason it's called a cylinder machine is because this brown bit here, which looks like the table, is actually removable. So I can get like, it's like doing a cuff on a domestic machine. You can get the whole bag around it. So it has a walking foot, but it's not designed for like crazy heavy duty stuff. It can sew thicker than this one, but not like those crazy thick heavy duty jukies. So it's kind of somewhere in between. But it does have the walking feet, or the compound feet is the professional name for it. And eventually I will be doing tutorials on that. It's just, you know, timing and things like that. I would do mainly the outside on this machine and then do the linings on this one, because I wouldn't want it to like over perforate, because it takes a bigger needle. The biggest size needle I can put in this machine over here is a size 22, which is insanely huge. Insanely huge. It'll sew leather, just not like the really, really thick leather. But yeah, so I do have a walking foot machine. I use it a lot when I'm off camera, just to do like outsides that are thicker. But most of my bag making is actually done just on this one. So I don't know, it would depend. If you only want to make bags with the machine, it might be worth getting a heavier duty walking foot, because you'll be able to do leather and lots of layers and not have to worry about cutting out seams so much. But for me, I also like to make all my clothes, so this is way, way better option for me. Yes. Have I looked on Etsy? I did contemplate doing Etsy instead of my website, but Etsy takes a percentage of everything that I do. So for the however much I pay, I think it's about $40 to $45 depending on the conversion rate. So to have my website, it's between $40 and $45, but I can make it look however I want. So I didn't have to pay any kind of professional to set up my website. It's all very self-explanatory, and it kind of takes you through it. So I can go and change the look of it and pick the themes, and they got a bunch of free themes. So I just like that option better, because I wanted to make everything pink and green, because, you know, that's who I am. Do I have other social media? I have Instagram, but I'm terrible at remembering to do it. And it keeps disconnecting from my Facebook, because I used to just post to both at the same time. So apart from Facebook, I half use Instagram and YouTube. They're the only ones I have. I don't think I've got time to do any more. I mean, in a perfect world, I could do them all, but I can't if you actually want to see me do stuff. Otherwise, it'd just be the same thing on all the media outlets. I'm a very good teacher and you appreciate it. You're welcome, Michelle. I like to encourage people to sew. That's why I started the group, actually, so you could all come and show me all the cool stuff you make. That's what it's there for. It's not just for me to constantly post. I would actually love it if you guys would post all the cool stuff you do as well, because your color options may inspire me, or, you know, you might teach somebody else something. It's all about sharing your knowledge. Please can I make a video of the Merino unisex crossbody bag by Bag Stock? If I ever move to Australia, I'm buying stuff from your website. Huh. Thank you. Yes, I will add that to my list of patterns to get. I have had a few people ask about that, so I might actually buy it this week. I'm just waiting for all the money from the waterproof canvas to actually hit my account, because it takes a couple of days. But I will add that to my list for you. That's not a problem. When I make bags to sell for the first time, do you make a couple of versions to try different interfacings? Or do I just know? So I just know. I always make one before I sell it, and that's usually because I'm picking the pattern because I want one for myself. But I also make one because if there's anything I want to change, I can do it in the demo. So that demo bag, I will either keep for myself, give to a friend, or if I botch it royally, I chop it into pieces because it makes me feel better. It's like anger management. But I will always make one of the bag before I go and sell it, just in case there's anything I want to change. I mean, if it comes out perfectly, I'm sure I would sell it. But there's always something that I want to change, like whether it's more pockets or more interfacing in the base or whatever it is. There's a huge fabric store here in the States that was just posted in So Whatever Facebook group. Prices on shipping are good. Ooh, that's dangerous. I do love fabric shopping. Hello, Annette. And hello, Ray. And I'm not sure what my mother's talking about with SC. But there you go. I'm trying to think what else I can tell you. Did anybody end up getting some of the Teflon tape and trying it out? Because I love it. I think it's wonderful. I think you should all try it. It's not that expensive on eBay because eBay is your friend. Hello, Deanna. If you had twice the amount of time on your sewing work days, would you just sew more or start up another hobby? I would probably just sew more. My hobby is my horse, so I do go out to him most days. So basically what I do, if first thing in the morning, I drop my child at daycare, then I record the video for you guys, and then as it's uploading, I will go out to my horse and go for a ride. Then once I finish that, I come back, de-horse myself, and continue sewing. So if I had more time in the universe, I think I would still sew. I really do enjoy sewing. It's why I picked it as my kind of career, I guess. Ah, South Carolina. Thank you. But yeah, no, so I actually think that me getting a 3D printer is going to be a little bit too much because that's technically another hobby that I've got going on. But no, I love sewing. If I ever don't feel like doing somebody's order, I just won't. I will just take a break, make myself some more clothes. So my wardrobe is like all the dresses bar I think 3 are all made by me. I've now got 3 or 4 handmade jackets. I've got some jumpers and t-shirts that I've embroidered on. So yeah, if I ever just go, oh my God, I can't do another bag right now, I will just make a piece of clothing because I've got like a little stash over there of fabric that's just for me. It doesn't quite make it to the cupboard. So yeah. Another sewing question. If you could upgrade my machine to anything, what would I pick? Oh, do you know, I don't think I would. I really like this machine. Not because of the brand it is or anything like that, but it's a good machine. I wanted to upgrade the motor so it would stop making noise, but then I just switched it. So this industrial walking foot machine has now got the motor that makes noise. So we just swapped them. So if I could upgrade anything, I would actually just change the motor on my, well, now the industrial walking foot and my overlocker to silent ones. I do, and I've now got a domestic machine, so that's hiding all the way over there. Behind this machine, there's a little domestic machine. I got that for 2 reasons. One is because I want to do sewing lessons, and not everybody wants to get a sewing machine if they don't think they like it. So it's a good, like, come and see if you like sewing machine. And also because it does one-step buttonholes. So when I make I've pretty much just permanently got it set to one-step buttonholes. And so then it's just my buttonhole machine for now. But no, I don't have a dream machine I wish I had, because my $500 secondhand off Facebook machine does great. I have an embroidery machine that does like a huge hoop. I've got a walking foot for when I need it, and I've got a buttonhole machine. So I'm actually quite content in the way of machines at the moment. I mean, that might change, but for now, I do love my machine. What format is my embroidery machine? So mine is a brother, so it takes PES files or PES files. I cannot digitize. The software is expensive, money I don't have, and realistically, probably time I don't have to learn. And then, you know, all the cool stuff I'd probably want is probably copyrighted anyway. So I don't digitize myself. I will just go and find designs that somebody else has done, because it's a different type of creativity. I can't draw or paint or anything like that. I can merely sew. So the whole embroidery thing, I love it because it draws the pictures for me, pretty much. That's why I don't do any freehand motion quilting stuff on bags, because I'm no good at it. I know my limits. I'm okay with that. Will I do a video one day on making my key tags? Oh, I can do that. I did promise I will start doing some more embroidery stuff. I do them like big hoops at a time, so I don't just do one at a time. I do like 6 at a time in one hoop because it's time efficient. So I'm okay with that. What type of sewing machine do I use? So this is a Mitsubishi LS2-130. I genuinely don't know what that means, except that it's a plain sewing industrial sewing machine. I do see that Juki is a very popular brand and it is like a favorite. I can see why everybody that gets them tends to love them. But yeah, no, mine was secondhand, so I went with what was available in Queensland at the time. If I have a Coverstitch machine, please could I do a video? I actually just sold it to a lady down the road. So I did have a Coverstitch machine, but I wasn't really using it. So I sold it. So unfortunately, I can't do that video for you because it is gone. I did buy it because I was going to start making myself like cool bikinis and stuff, but I just never quite got motivated enough or found the time to do them. So it's gone. Have you heard of a Jack industrial machine? I have not, no. But I haven't heard of a lot of the brands. I've only heard of Juki because it seems to be like the go-to for home sewing or like small business sewing. So I've only heard of Juki because everyone else brings it up. I've heard of Mitsubishi because I have one. I know Toyota make machines because my industrial overlocker is Toyota. And this one here is an Elizabeth machine. So apparently that's the place to go to in Melbourne for machines. But apart from that, that's about the only brands that I've heard of because I don't really go around looking for them. Mainly because I don't want to upgrade. I'm quite happy with what I've got. Do I have a serger? I do. It is industrial. It is a Toyota, I don't know what. It's technically a 5-thread machine. So what that means is I can get it to do like stitching and then like a 3 overlock next to it all at the same time. The problem with the stitching is it's like a weird loop thing, so it comes undone. So I don't set up those 2 stitches. I prefer to stitch it and then just serge it with a 3-thread on the edge. But technically it can do it all at the same time. It's what a lot of like Kmart clothes and stuff are made of. So if you pull the wrong thread, the whole thing comes undone because it's like a loop chain stitch or something. I don't really know what it's called. But yes, I do have one, and I do overlock all of my clothes, just not handbags. Yeah. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I want to bring up. Not really. You have a semi-industrial Juki. Tried to use the bonded thread on it, but it wouldn't do it. My suggestion on that is try just putting it in the top and not the bobbin. Maybe that would help. I know some domestics, you can put the industrial thread in the top, but not the bottom. So maybe try doing it that way and see if it'll take it then. My horse is an ex-race horse. So he's a thoroughbred. He's like 17 years old now. Sometimes he still thinks he's a racehorse and tries to run really fast down tracks. But he's actually a really good horse. He my 4-year-old rides him and I don't even hold on to the reins. The horse just follows me around. He's really cool. How did I figure out how to set up my sewing room? It's still not done. I have rearranged just this room like 5 times because I'm trying to be good with my space. This is not actually a very big room. So the first thing I did though was all of my machines back to back away from a wall. I found that was better than trying to lay them all up along a wall or have them sticking out like desks. And I've got my cutting counter also kind of away from all the walls so I can walk all the way around it. Apart from that, everything else I keep rearranging because it's not a big space and I haven't figured out the best way. Basically I need to either hire an interior designer or find a friend that's really good with like spatial visual stuff and do it for me. Because yeah, I literally rearranged it 2 days ago. So unfortunately, that's not a good question to ask me because I'm terrible at it. The answer is just keep moving things slowly until you feel it's right. It also doesn't help that I'm in a rental and I can't have cupboards and things. I feel like benches and cupboards would help a lot. But yes. Larger needles. Yes. So industrial thread is thicker, so they require larger needle like eye holes. So just depending on what needles you're using will also depend on if you can use that particular thread. So yeah, I'm not sure. I will be doing, actually, I know I promised to do a tutorial on a domestic. Now that I've got one, I will do that. It's on my list, I promise. Hello from Las Vegas. What's your favorite bag pattern to make? So at the moment, it's Nora by Swoon, but I also do love the Baronia by Blue Calla. I actually do love a lot of them. The Love Heart bag by Trix's Designs is super cute. You can do so many cool, fun things with it. I do want to make more. I've got a lot of orders, funnily enough, for Nora's to do this week, so I will get there. Hanging rolls on the wall makes it a great way to store them. So I have done something similar. I'm going to pick up the camera, so sorry if you get motion sickness. My husband and father built me this, so I actually hang the rolls. They've got like notches, and there was a lot more, but then I decided to hang all my sewing patterns here. So these are curtain hooks with little rings in them. Let me move this back. So they're curtain hooks with little rings in them, and then I hang all the patterns on these things. So these are like card holders, I believe they're called. You can get them from like $2 shops. So I just hole punch them, put all the things on there, and then hang that with the pattern from the curtain hooks on the rod. I know that's a big mouthful, but they work really well. And I get bigger hooks for the ones done out of MDF, and then the smaller ones are the ones that I've just laminated. Hey from Montreal, I would assume that it might be your cold season. Yes, it is. The way I cope is I crank up my heating and I wear socks and fluffy pants and a comfortable hoodie. And usually no bra. I like to be comfortable when I'm sewing. So I'm in jeans now, but it's only because I've had to go out this morning twice. So I will wear comfy, warm clothes while I'm sewing because until I'm doing videos, I don't actually care what I look like. And then even that's not really true because half the videos I do for you guys, I'm still in my fluffy pants. So comfortable is key, warm is key, good socks, and I don't sew with shoes. So I don't sew barefoot or with shoes. I sew with socks because it's comfortable for me. Yes. Under the table is a very good way also to store patterns. Just basically anywhere you've got space works out well. I was going to hang them under my cutting table, but then I found a cupboard that perfectly fits under it. So now that stores all smaller pieces of fabric. No bra is definitely key. Comfortable is key. So whatever you're comfortable in sewing, like, I don't know, be comfortable. Comfortable means that you're in like a good headspace, which means you'll be in a good sewing headspace. Do you think it's an advantage for a machine to auto cut your strings? I don't know because I've never had one. I've got a mate that has one, but they still leave a bit of a tail, so you still have to cut it off anyway. I think the main advantage of that is theoretically it won't get sucked back up while you're sewing, like I always do in my videos. But I've never had one. I've never used a machine that's had one, so I don't know if it's an advantage or not. I suppose it depends on how much extra the machine would cost to have it. Being our summer here, it's way too hot. That's fair. I actually miss being warmer, not crazy hot, but I do love wearing dresses. So as it gets to summer, you'll probably notice the change in my clothing. I will go from the same hoodie over and over to like rainbow dresses because that's what I have. And that's what I really enjoy wearing. But even a dress with a cardigan and leggings is still too cold at the moment. Oh, nice. Laminating patterns is like the best thing ever. So basically what I do with patterns is I will cut them out and I will laminate them before I even make them. Then I will make the pattern. And if I think I'm going to make a lot of them, I then transfer it to the MDF board and get hubby to cut it out with the bandsaw. If I don't think I'm going to make a lot of them, I still keep it on a smaller one of those rings on my list of stuff. So laminating will make it last a lot longer. And then basically the MDF board for me is just, I know I'm going to make a crap ton. That's pretty much where that goes to. I love the clothing I make. Oh, thank you. I will be doing a lot more dresses as it gets warmer because I will want to make myself some. So I'll just record myself and talk to myself as I make it because that's pretty much what I'm doing. Except for like a live video when I can actually respond to your questions. Most of the time I just sit there talking to myself, which is what you guys see. Where did I purchase my zipper puller holder? Oh, my husband made that. I see a lot of people have started making them to sell. I'm going to show you in detail. Hold on. So my zipper puller is one of those like slidey clamps. And as you can see, it's rusted and really, really old. So it slides up and down. And then hubby has put 2 holes in the actual clamp. And then just 2 holes in the fork. And bolted it on there. And then he bent this all funky. So he had to bend this like 4 times for me until we got it right. And then we just bent down 2 of the fork prongs. So that is my very, very professional looking zipper thing. It's rusted and weird colored and I love it. So yeah, if you've got even like a remotely handy hubby, I promise he can make you one. And the reason I've got it on a clamp is because it clamps to the same spot on my table. And because it's a twist clamp, I can actually twist it out of the way and then twist it towards me. It's great. Right, so I don't know if you can see this, but this is towards me. And then when I'm not using it, I just push it over so that the prongs aren't facing me so I don't stab myself in the head, which I have done twice. Yes, I will share the names and pattern numbers of all the clothes I make as I make them. I always put those in the descriptions if I'm doing the video. So anything I make or anything I alter, I'll tell you how I altered it and why and everything like that. Because the blouses that I've been doing that you guys all love, I actually altered the sleeve. I found like a YouTube video on how to alter sleeves because I'd never done it and it turned out great. So I will put the link in the description when I do that tutorial. And it's not an if, it's a when, because I've still got 2 more to make. I'm going to do a black one, which I won't do on camera because you can't see. And I'm doing like a yellow and white floaty pretty fabric that I love. So yeah, I will put links in descriptions. Sometimes you guys beat me to the description. So it's uploading and I don't realize it's finished and you guys have already watched it. And that's why the description box is empty. You just beat me there. But I will always update and put information in the description box. So if it's empty, you've just beat me. The plastic cutting mats sold at Dollar Tree store are great. Yes. So I used to buy the plastic. My NCW is still like the plastic. They sell this at Spotlight. It just gets really pricey really quick. That's all. Oh, good, Mary. You should definitely get him to make one. And it is very, very old. No family member wants to make me one. Well, that's disappointing. Why don't you try it yourself? Realistically, you just need some pliers and a drill. I think that's about all you need. And like a shifter, 2 shifters, or the right size spanners. You wouldn't need a lot of tools to make one. You could buy a clamp new. If you don't have one in your house, you could buy one new from a hardware store. Get a fork either from your cupboard, or if you have pretty sets like me, go to an op shop or a thrift store and buy one. They'll be like 10 cents. And then you just need, 2 nuts and bolts and drill some holes. I feel like I could have made it. I was just busy, and hubby likes to be the one that makes that kind of stuff. And who am I to deny him? Love my sense of humor. I just read that after I said that. Thank you. Do I ever use quilting cotton for clothing? Absolutely. Absolutely, I use a lot of quilting cotton. I don't let the fabric tell me what it's for. That's pretty much my stance on that. I will do what I want with the fabric. It may say it's suiting fabric, but you can't force me to make a suit out of it. Just because it's quilting cotton does not mean I'm going to make a quilt with it. So, yes, I use quilting cotton. I use poplin. I use rayon. I use poly cotton. I use pretty much anything that I like the look of. My favorite fabric is sateen to make clothes out of. Cotton sateen, because there's 2 types. I love cotton sateen because it's got like a little bit of stretch. So that skull jacket that you guys all love is cotton sateen. And then on the inside, I actually put satin because I didn't have any lining fabric. And why buy more when I had something close enough? So it made it a little bit thicker, but I don't care. Makes it warmer. I still put zippers on by hand. That is great that you can do that. I can do it, but it's definitely quicker for me with my zipper jig. And when I went to, before I got my husband to make that, I actually went online to try and find one. The cheapest one I could find was $50 plus postage, which I just thought was a lot. Couldn't justify it, so hubby made that with stuff in our shed. So I am not that person that needs the best of everything. I am actually quite happy with like make-do versions. So except for my recent domestic sewing machine and my iron, everything else in this room is secondhand. Because, you know, it works. I live by that. It works, so it's fine. Have I ever worked with cotton lycra? I have. I make myself clothes with cotton lycra. My favorite thing to do is like bodysuits. I was about to call them adult onesies, but that's not what they're called. Bodysuits. So I make long sleeve bodysuits because it's freezing here. So I've made a black one, and I've got a white one with like little pirate ships all over it, and a white one with pink glitter polka dots, just to be cool. So yes, I have worked with it. I tend to just overlock it because it's stretchy and that works for me. And before I sold my Coverstitch machine, I probably would have cover stitched the seams. But yes, I keep a fork under a heavy book at the end of the table. That works too. I like that. Yeah, so like if I had infinite amount of money, maybe I would go and buy like a professional jig and a brand new this and a brand new that. But meh, not overly necessary. If it's gonna work for you, it's gonna work. Only when, like, if this rust would transfer to stuff, I would get rid of it. But the rust is here, and the bag never touches here, so therefore it doesn't bother. And it doesn't come off when I touch it. So if it come off if I touched it, I would get rid of it. But at this stage, it's not harming anything, so it's fine. Have I made anything for my husband? Absolutely. So every year, which you guys are going to start seeing photos of, every year at Christmas time, I make my husband, my child, and myself tragic matching Christmas outfits because I think I'm funny. So the boys always get like a shirt, and they get like, so it's usually like the collar is a different color to the main body. And then I switch it, and then I make myself a dress that's got both the colors in it. So I do make him that. I've made him what I call happy pants, which you might call lounging or house pants, which is basically pajama pants out of a different fabric. So I have made them for him out of the cheesecloth fabric in black, and he just like hangs around the house in them. He loves them. I've done a couple of like nice going out shirts where my husband and my child match, which is super adorable. We went to this aquarium, so I've got photos. But so, and I've made him a lot actually. I've made him a toiletry bag for when he goes out field. I made him a swoon Stella out of grey upholstery fabric. And that's his take to work bag. I've made the Dallas by Swoon out of, I think it was like a brown checker. And then I did applique of some skulls because that's what he asked for. And so that's his gym bag. So yes, I do make a lot for my husband. I will make him anything he asks, but that's about all he's asked for so far. How cold is it there for you, considering it's freezing? Okay, so it's not snowing where I live, but I did go out this morning and there was ice on my car. So it's not freezing, but it is cold. So like at night, it's about 0 degrees Celsius, maybe negative. I don't know. My horse gets 2 rugs, so he's not cold. Inside my house is always warm though. I think the lowest the thermostat's ever told me is 15 degrees Celsius. That was this morning, so I just cranked it back up to 23. It never gets to 23, by the way. I wish it did. I would wear dresses while I did videos. Did I make the wooden box that I use for the walking foot? My husband made that for me because I asked and begged and pleaded for it. So he come in, he took the measurements, he made like a thing to go around the cylinder part. So it doesn't, you can buy them. Apparently they're very expensive because I rang my person. I have a person that I ring about these things. And he said we'd be better off to make it if we could. So hubby whipped it up out of like, I don't know, some 2x4s we had in the shed and a sheet of like thicker MDF stuff. So it doesn't come with it. He also stained it to be a nice brown for me. So it doesn't come with it. You can buy them, but mine again is like a cheaper version of. Adult onesie. Yep, adding that to my vocabulary. Yeah, I don't call things normal things. I love my zigzag scissors. And you guys found it on a package, which makes it true. I know they're called pinking shears, but say the word zigzag. It's just fun to say. Can't wait to see the pictures of the Christmas outfits. So last year, I'm going to go back to this because it makes me very happy. Last year, I did a Christmas shirt for my husband and my child, and it was reindeers, so like cartoon reindeers, but it was very, very kind of a childish print. So on my husband's shirt, I made the whole shirt red with just like the cuff and collar and stuff in the reindeers. But then on the back of his shirt, I did like an 8x12 embroidery design, and it was an evil looking reindeer that said Hail Santa. It made me very happy. But now my brother has that shirt, so he'll wear that this year, I imagine. -40 in the middle of winter. That is not as cold as I get. So no, I do not get freezing cold. It's just cold for me. You've also got to remember, I lived in like a hot tropical climate at the start of this year. So my body's still adjusting to the cold. But -40 is insanely cold. I suggest some epic thermal socks. That would, keep me nice and toasty. Must be nice to have a handy husband. I bought my husband a hammer and he has used it to crack walnuts. That's awesome. At least he's using it and it's not just in a cupboard. Sorry, what is a cover stitch machine? So a cover stitch machine is kind of like an overlocker, but kind of not. So if you go and buy like a t-shirt from, I don't know, anywhere, you'll see along the bottom of it, on the top, it's got like 2 perfectly straight lines, and then the bottom of it's got like a zigzag, boxy looking stitch going. That is done by what's called a cover stitch machine. So that's what that is. It's mainly for if you sew a lot of stretchy fabrics. And the lady I sold the machine to, funnily enough, is actually going to be making swimwear. So I decided that I would prefer it to see, get used and be loved. So it's gone over there. Where do I live? Country Victoria. In a very windy place. It's called Puckapunyal, which apparently in the Indigenous tongue means windy. So there you go. An overlock. Okay, sorry. So an overlocker is a serger. Sorry. Right. Overlocker is serger. Coverstitch machine is similar to a serger, but not quite. So it just does like a top final stitching on stretchy fabrics. Yes. -40. I don't know if I could deal with -40. No, I don't think so. I mean, if I'm inside maybe, but going outside in that kind of freezingness, I don't know if I could deal. I hear beautiful things about Canada though. It does look very pretty. One day I'll come there. So I've got to deal with my husband. Anytime we go traveling, I'm allowed to buy a lot of fabric. So I do want to go overseas so I can buy a lot of fabric is where I'm at on that. It's so weird watching myself talk. I like it. Is my husband in the military? Yes, he is. He is currently like in a teaching role. Nova Scotia. Ooh. Do I like duck canvas? Not really. Mainly because I don't think the prints print out as nice on them. I find they're a bit, I don't know, not washy. They're not washy, but like they're not crisp. So the edge lines aren't crisp. I also don't love poly cotton for the same reason. I think the way the fabric's done, it bleeds a little too much into the fabric next to it. So you don't get like nice crisp lines on it. But that's just me. So if I found a duck fabric that I really loved, I would buy it if the print looked good. But when I go to Spotlight, I look at them and I don't love them. So I tend to not buy them. Mexico is a good place for fabric. Excellent. That would be wonderful. And I will thank him for you. But you know, so I will be doing more clothing, probably a lot more dresses, couple of skirts. I'm actually going to teach you guys how to make a pleated skirt with no pattern because that's always fun. And it's not as hard as it sounds. And I need another pleated skirt is the other reason why. I'm going to do like a plain colored one and then embroider candy canes all the way along the bottom. Because I'm childish like that. And we sew to make pretty things, so I may as well wear them. It's fine. You made a lunch bag and it's not crisp. Could be user error. Maybe. Let me know if there's something in the US that you want me to send to you. I do find duck canvas rough. I like drill. So in America, turns out you have something called twill as well as drill. So drill is like a derivative of twill. So drill's 100% cotton. It's actually what we make our work pants out of over here in Australia. So it's like a denim, but not quite. So drill I find is really, really nice. Duck and drill are on the same table at our Spotlight here, but I can always pick it without touching the fabric. I can pick which one's printed on a duck because it's just not as nice in my opinion. The drill I think's got like a tighter weave than the duck canvas. The duck canvas for me, the weave's a little bit too big, or like not so much loose, but I don't know, maybe it's like a thicker thread or something. I don't love it. I'm not picking on it. I don't tend to buy it. I don't think I've got any here at the moment. I do find, so in our upholstery section in Spotlight, they use a lot of like 100% cotton, and a lot of the prints over there are a bit cotton canvassy. They're very duckish, but I tend to not buy them because I know that they won't work well. Hi, on lunch managed to hop on. Hello, thank you for joining us. I love that you could just sneak on here at your lunch break. That's great. Video idea, taking us to your favorite fabric store and showing the fabrics. I could do that with my local one. It's not so much my favorite, but my favorite's like an hour away and we're on lockdown again. So I could do that though. I could take you into a Spotlight. Oh my God, let's do a video where I take you around Spotlight and show you all the fabrics. That'd be interesting. Please tell me the name of your website for your products. Seamslegit.com.au. I've pretty much just named all my stuff the same across the board. So my Facebook sewing group is Seems Legit. Sewing, because I had to have that word there. My Facebook is Seems Legit, and my website is seamslegit.com.au. And then my YouTube channel is also Seems Legit. And I've done this deliberately so that it's easy for you to find me. I don't like to make things overly complicated if I don't have to. What's my favorite thing to eat? Ooh, depends on the day. I do like chocolate. I like cheese and biscuits and with like cabana and stuff. I always feel like I'm being very adulty when I eat it, but I do love it. We had tacos the other day for dinner, and I love tacos. They were yum. I love roast pork. I don't know. I don't have like if I had to pick one thing to eat for the rest of my life, I don't think I could pick it. Or I'd say salad, because salad's a very broad term and you can have anything in salad. But I don't have like a single favorite go-to food. I know that's not helpful to you, but I don't know. I don't really know why you need to know. You just wanted to, and that's awesome. But no, I don't have a single favorite thing. I thought that probably using duck canvas would be stronger for purses, but like I mentioned, it's not crisp. Yeah, I think you'll find you'll like drill more than duck canvas. So if you can find something called drill, buy a meter, have a look. I think you'll be pleasantly happy. Drill is definitely stronger. So all of the patches that I make, like the Needle Ninja and stuff, I've put all of them on drill. So they are quite sturdy. I did that deliberately. That was a conscious choice I did because I want them to be strong. I don't want them to tear and fray and carry on. So drill if you're after something sturdy. Have you used the technique where a fork is used to make pleats? Oh, I have seen this video. I can try it if you like. I just don't know how the math would go out for a skirt. So the way I make my pleated skirts is I take my waist measurement, times it by 3, make my fabric that long, and then do the pleats. And that always works out to perfect pleats. The fork, you'd have to measure that and work out how much it's going to take. But I have seen it, and I have tried it on a scrap, and it did amuse me. I also did nearly sew over the fork. So, you know, be wary of that. I did it on this machine, and yeah, nearly sewed over the fork. But it does look really cool. Linen canvas. Ooh, I didn't know linen canvas was a thing. That sounds cool. If anyone's got a link to linen canvas, please show me in my Facebook group, because I'm gonna go. I can see a lot of people are trying to be added. I promise I will get to you. I super promise. I just don't want to do it now. It seems rude. But yeah, if somebody got a link to linen canvas, please link me in, because I would love to see it. I think that would be very nice. Fluffy pants from Hunting and Fishing Rock. Their official sewing uniform. Yes. My fluffy pants are from like a $2 variety store. They were $8. Obviously not $2. So comfortable. I love them. Or tracksuit pants. I wore my tracksuit pants literally to death and had to throw them out. So they're just like house pants. Whatever makes you comfortable. And hoodies. Hoodies are super comfortable. Because if you're feeling extra cold, you just put the hood on. You feel warmer. My ears instantly feel warmer right now. I just look weird. Spoon flower. Okay. I will go and have a look on spoon flower. I like spoon flower, but I do find that postage is expensive. So I've only ever bought like one thing from there, and that was a custom order, and the lady understood she had to pay more because for 1 meter, I think it cost me $60, which is just outrageous. Hoodies are your go-to. That's good. They are comfortable. I love them. Or just like slouchy, baggy, oversized jumpers. So I quite often wear a skull jumper. I think there's a video where I got up at 2 a.m. to make it for you guys because I couldn't sleep. And I'm in like a black and white. It's a black jumper with like a white thing. There's actually my husband's jumper, but he doesn't like it. So now it's mine. It's my sewing jumper. Keeps me nice and warm. Except the sleeves sometimes annoy me. I should actually take the sleeves up so that they don't overhang over my hands. But yeah. Cool. We've gone for like an hour and a half. All right. We're going to do 10 more minutes and then I'm going to go and actually do some work. So I will take 10 more minutes of questions, I guess. How do your custom order clients pick the fabric they want? Do you give options or do they come up with options? That's a good question. So what I do is I say, they go, hi, I want a bag. And I'm like, do you have a fabric in mind or do you have a favorite thing you'd like? And most of them go, Harry Potter. So then I have actually got a folder on my computer that has all the Harry Potter fabrics that I have in stock, and I just send them the options. For those that don't say that, they might say, oh, can you get any kangaroo fabric? So then I will look in my local store and online to see what I can find. I also allow my clients to send me fabric and I will make it out of their fabric that they've got, and then I just take a certain dollar amount off the total order. So if they've got fabric at home, they're like, oh my God, can you make me a bag out of my fabric? The answer is, of course. Do you have a lining choice as well that you want to send? Do you want me to pick it? Then they send it to me and I take a certain amount off. I won't take off, though, necessarily the amount that they paid. So if they paid $40 for a meter of fabric, I'm not taking $40 off my bag because that's not how I factored in the amount that I've spent. So it's all kind of relative, but most people don't mind about doing those kinds of things. But yeah, otherwise I take photos. Like if they go, I love animals, I'll be like, what kind of animals? Be a little bit more specific. And then I just plonk them out on my table and take like a dodgy photo. And they can usually tell if they like it or not. But yeah, I would love to have like an option on my website where here's all my fabric. The problem with that is I can't take it off multiple items. So if I've only got 1 meter of fabric, I can only get one bag and a wallet out of it. So I would have to be really on the ball for having like an album like that. And it's just a little bit too time consuming for me, I think. So glad the waterproof sold so well. So I've already bought more waterproof fabric too. So for anybody that missed out on a color, I've basically, the colors I sold out of as of this morning, I have just gone and bought a lot more of that. So anybody that missed out, I promise there'll be more, and hopefully it won't take as long this time around. That'd be nice. Have I rearranged my sewing room recently? Yes. Because I had to figure out where the 3D printer was going to sit where it wouldn't get touched by my child and have minimal draft, because apparently the external environment can affect it. So I had to rearrange something to stick it in the corner so that it won't be touched and it's got somewhere to live that's near a PowerPoint. You finished your first Bonnie bucket and now matching CD. That's awesome. How do I figure out how to charge for a bag? So I don't take how much each individual piece of fabric costs me. I go on like a broad average of how much fabric is. So where I live at the moment, most fabric is $25 a meter. I actually need to update the prices of my bags because I've based this in $20 a meter. So I take how much it's going to cost me for fabric and lining and bag hardware and everything else. And then I tend to double it and then just add a little bit. So the little bit is basically the fees and the website. So I take like, $2 from every item I make towards the website. And then I add a little bit because no matter how you pay, everybody takes a bit. So PayPal takes a bit, Afterpay takes a little bit extra. Even if you pay by credit card, it still takes a bit. So I just have to make sure I factor that in so I'm still making money. Another good way that I would potentially do it as well is see how many I can make in a day, work out how much money I want to make in a day, and then divide it down by bag. So that's the main way I do it. I hope that helps. I know lots of people triple it. I don't have a clientele base that would pay that much money, and I would prefer to sell bags at a lower rate than not sell any at a higher rate. I think I'm quite reasonably priced. like I said, like you've seen in my videos, even explaining it to you, not really any bag takes me more than 2 hours, except the overnight bag, but that one's an expensive bag to have. So yeah. And when I'm not on video, like I can speed sew everything and I have it all spread out, but it actually makes it a little bit quicker because I'm not trying to have it like at arm's length everywhere while the video's there. So yeah, that's pretty much how I work that out. But yeah, any more questions before we finish up? Nan wants to know, how do you get what? That's not a word, Mom. You're welcome, Annette. Thank you everyone for coming too. We had like a lot of people. There's like 76 people here at the moment. So I would actually like to say thank you for taking time out of your day to come over and say hi and hang out with me. I would actually stay longer, but I do have to do some form of sewing today. All right, guys. I will see you all when I'm looking at you. But yeah, if you haven't yet joined my Facebook group, come join me because I warn you of things that are coming. So it's worth it, I promise. And everybody is lovely, everyone's friendly, and everybody can share stuff. All right, guys. See you next time. Bye.